You are listening to the Ad Absurdum podcast, episode 3, regarding pants. This is Ad Absurdum. I am Alex Adams.
And I'm Dallas Kazabowski.
I'm so glad I didn't have to say your last name. And today, we're going to be talking about pants. But I also just wanted to bring up the fact that I'm standing up in front of my microphone, but that's not what I was going to say. I'm bringing up the fact I'm not. Funny you mention that. No, I'm actually not. I'm wearing boxer briefs and socks and a Bruce Lee T-shirt from Enter the Dragon, where he's all scratched up by that guy with the claw hand.
Nice. All right.
So this is you are no longer far away from me. You're simply now just far away.
Yeah, just inconvenient enough that we can't just show up at your house, but close enough that Skype doesn't have as much of a delay.
And you were in my room in this previous episode, except that one got wiped along with my entire computer.
Yeah, Alex is impossible to schedule. Finally get them together and make a podcast about something interesting and important like self-esteem.
With special guest star Mike.
And then he crashes his computer and So anyway, now we're back.
And we're
going to talk about pants.
We're talking about pants right now. Because why not?
It was a random topic, and funny enough, I think we'll both have things to say.
Well, I got a couple of things to say, but I want to open with this question, Dallas. What is your oldest pair of pants? What's the pair of pants you've kept the longest?
That's a good question. Probably it's a tie between the pajama pants I'm wearing right now. They're kind of a plaid, like a purple plaid sort of thing.
I can dig it.
A pair of blue jeans that barely fit me around the waist anymore.
Outstanding. That is similar to me in the sense of jeans. I had a pair of jeans that lasted me from grade 9 all the way to second year university, and then they finally the butt seam got blown out on me when I was walking up a flight of stairs, and then I had to spend the rest of the day with a sweater tied around my waist, and it was very unfortunate for me.
And you're about a decade too late for that to be cool.
Exactly. I could have just done was it Dawson's Creek? Did they do that? Somebody did that.
I don't know, probably.
That's pretty cool. Although I want to tell you right now that the oldest known trousers, yes, I've done my research, are found at the Yanghai Cemetery in Turpan, Zhejiang, China, dated to the period between the 13th and the 10th century BC. They're made of wool, and they had straight legs and wide crotches, and were likely made for horseback riding. Fascinating.
That is pretty neat. I didn't realize pants were that old. I mean, it's not surprising, but it's kind of interesting because I would have thought more of a toga sort of robe sort of thing would have been.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny that you would mention that, the robe-based culture. Have you ever seen, and this goes for our viewers as well, John Green's YouTube series. John Green is a author / comedian YouTube personality who has this YouTube series called Crash Course World History. And I recall the first time I ever showed you this, Dallas, you sort of kind of sat up in your chair and you're like, who is that guy? I know there's a guy who looks like this guy. And you pulled up his brother's YouTube account. I think his name's George or Greg. Should have researched that.
Because John Green, for people who don't know his channel, he also wrote The Fault in Our Stars, which is a big motion picture. It just came out a year ago, I think.
Big tearjerker.
Yeah, and his brother is Hank Green, who does a show called SciShow on YouTube. So that one's really good for learning about science and stuff like that.
Yeah, so this is, I've actually never seen SciShow except for a little bits and blurbs. I should probably watch that more than Vsauce. I think that's got a bit more meat on the bone. But in any case, in one of these episodes in John Green's YouTube series, he mentions how the ancient Greeks saw pants as the formative icon of the downfall of Greek society. It was only the barbarians that would wear pants. Of course, these cultured Greeks, the philosophers, would walk around in robes. All the Renaissance art are clearly depicting all of these Greeks with these long flowing robes. And apparently, as to quote John Green, they thought that it was the downfall of society until they went north and felt a strong wind blow up their robes, and felt that having warm testicles was more important than the downfall of Western society.
Yeah, and seems like it's man's folly, really. Well, I got a question for you,
Shoot.
Alec. Do you like pants, or do you hate pants?
So this is sort of like a left field, because I was actually talking with my meditation instructor of all people, and for some reason we started talking about people are trying to sit cross-legged in jeans on the floor, and we got to talking about how people would have a different experience of being alive if they were wearing robes. And you know me, Dallas, I'm a bit out there, and I would kind of like it if robes in the West were sort of brought back. This is a roundabout way to say I'm kind of like on the fence about pants. I'm not a huge fan of pants.
Yeah, it's actually funny. A lot of people I talk to don't like pants to the point where they complain about them, and they like. There have been a lot of like little shows, like TV shows, where people talk about how terrible pants are. You know, It's like pants seem to symbolize like the subjugation of the human race to have to go out and be social and work and have responsibilities.
Yep.
I, on the other hand, like pants.
At the center.
They keep me warm. They keep me safe. They keep me dry. If when I was a kid, I never wore shorts. I'd go to school, it'd be really hot outside, and I'd wear jeans the whole time. And I actually had teachers getting mad at me because I was wearing jeans and I was wear shorts. Because I'd play outside and I'd like slide on the ground, and I would ruin my pants, but I would rather do that than skin my knee. Or when I'm working outside at home, even in the hottest day of the summer, I wear jeans because I don't want to, if I'm dealing with firewood or something, I don't want to get cuts all over myself. So
that's a very interesting point, that in the sense of being really physical and not wanting to protect your body physically. I wore pants all through my career as a student because I was trying to protect my ego. And I had I felt self-conscious about my body. I was a lot fatter then, and I never wanted to wear shorts or t-shirts for that matter, but mainly the pants, because wearing long baggy pants would kind of sort of hide my form and hide my figure. So even in the same way as you, Dallas, I would wear pants and sort of sweat through the summer heat, but just never wear shorts, never defact to shorts.
Yeah, it's just very utilitarian for me when I'm doing some kind of physical work or whatever like that. If I have to spend any of the effort in making sure that I don't, brush the box against my skin or whatever. I'm working at Costco lifting boxes all day. That's pretty much what I do. I stock shelves and things. And If I had to worry for 1 second about, this box sliding against my leg and bruising
Gashing
it,
yeah.
then it would distract me, and it would make me have to put more effort into the lifting of the box or whatever, and it's just fatiguing.
When I started working as a supply teacher, I went out to Mountain Co-op and got a special pair of, actually this works for my other job too, a catering job. I bought this special pair of Mountain Co-op mountain climbing pants that had the same cut as a pair of dress pants, but it was some sort of stretchy polymer fiber, so I could do wheel kicks, and I could do a full squat without having to worry that the fabric was binding my hips in such a way that I was putting mechanical pressure on my lumbar spine when you go into I can't explain this for our listeners, but if you've ever seen a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old squat down, picking up a flower or whatever, that's the normal biomechanical way that the body should move, and kids will naturally squat like this. But when kids sort of grow up and they start wearing pants with tight binding belts that bind around the hips, people get what I like to call Ken doll syndrome, and they start bending at the waist, picking up everything, which is not really mechanically how we've evolved to move through the world, and bending over to pick up things. So as a result, with the same as you, Dallas, I also had to do a lot of heavy lifting in this job, but I also needed to look good, so I had to get this pair of expensive pants that I was able to do split kicks and stuff like that, which the coworkers found funny.
Yeah, see, you'd never be able to get away with that in Europe, which leads me to my next point.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, I haven't been all over Europe, but I've been in a couple of countries, and almost all the Europeans I know, they tend to dress a little bit more chic over there.
Interesting.
And one definite thing that they do is they wear tight pants.
Tight pants.
Like I have a pair of dress slacks, North American dress slacks, and they're I wouldn't say baggy. My girlfriend would, but they're not like skin tight.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was over in France more than a year ago now, I went to switch from my dress pants to something else. There were jeans.
Yeah.
That's another point to get into in a moment. But she started laughing because no one wears jeans.
Wow.
And no one. I'll come back to the jeans point in a minute, but yeah, tighter pants is a thing. And if you watch like a lot of movies now, globalization, they're starting to have people like random characters from Europe or East Asia and stuff like that.
This archetype, the cultured European archetype in a lot of modern television
and every
shows.
time you see it, like some cultured European guy, he's wearing a suit, and it's a really nice suit, and it's a really tight suit.
Couture.
You can even look at like and I'm not talking like movie stars, because movie stars dress extremely well, but you look at like a North American suit, and then you look at a European suit, and they're cut very differently.
Oh, absolutely. The American cut, it's very boxy. It goes back to the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. And the European one is very, very slim, and it's something it does look good, and it's something I may progress into, but it's a little difficult for me to wrap my brain around because it restricts movement.
Yeah, that was the key thing for me. That obviously, like wearing a robe around, especially in a climate as like tumultuous and varied as Canada, would probably not be the best thing to do. Much like a lot of people who have these really eccentric sports cars, which they can drive for about like 9 weeks out of the year in Canada, because the rest of the year is like marred with salt.
But think about this, Alex. I wore a cloak for years.
Hey, but that was practical though, because you could still like jump over a fence if you needed to.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to wear a robe that's so long that we had to trip over it. But I mean, you could get away with it. You could get away with wearing like a ankle length robe, and I don't know. A robe, it's funny. A cloak is very strange. And I think a robe would be very strange. I think if people saw you walking downtown wearing a robe, they would think that you just came out of like the bedroom or something, or you were trying to play Arthur Dent from like.
Speaking of like terrible, eye-turning robe-like pants fashion choices, I wanted to segue into a question that I have for you that I also have my own answer for. But I was wondering if you. Off the top of your head, what do you think is the dumbest style of pants that have ever been out there? Stretching back, you can go any culture, any history. Anything that's coming to mind?
Well, I can't think of that many different styles, to be honest. I mean, this is another point we can get into in a moment, but I don't know. I think the one that a lot of people have trouble with, and that I just don't really like, it's like the 90s, really wide.
Yes.
I mean, on some people it actually seems to work, but most people wear them and they wear them too low, and it just, I don't mind like baggy clothes, but it doesn't look nice. It just looks like the person is just like, bleh, and threw it on themselves. So
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is actually my answer. And for those of you who have been born too early or too late, or maybe under a rock or whatever, you write in a book, you missed some fashion, that's all right. They're called trip pants with 2 P's. A 90s variant of parachute pants associated with EDM music, high school kids, drugs. And these are the pants that had those massive shoe-obscuring bell-bottoms with the occult flame decals. They had chains, they had studs, they had sometimes unfastened suspenders. And I'm going to be truthful here. I had a pair of trip pants when I was in high school.
I too owned a pair. at the time, I didn't really know what style was, let alone what my style was, and everybody else was thinking they were cool. So I don't usually go along with what everybody thinks is cool, but I saw, I didn't have as much knowledge of what style was, so I didn't have as much disdain for them. But now I see them and I'm like, oh,
yep,
you're gonna trip over that, or it just looks like you don't care.
It's like a cape for your knees.
Yeah.
It's terrible. So we were talking a bit about pants restricting your movement, and obviously trip pants are not going to restrict your movement. They may restrict your walking, but that's besides the point. Dallas, have you ever read a men's magazine from the year 1977 to 1991 by chance?
No.
No. Well, if you have. If you had, you might have seen one of these printed magazine ads for Century Action jeans, famously promoted by Chuck Norris, that had an extra crotch pocket, an extra seam that wouldn't bind your legs for your high kicks and your wheel kicks and your roundhouse kicks. So this is probably your one opt-out for wanting to actually perform, because obviously in what was it, Highlander, Outsider, Manhunter, whatever, the Chuck Norris syndicated TV series where he's like some sort of badass. This was post Bruce Lee. I should have. Someone looked that up.
Walker, Texas Ranger?
That's it. That's the one. So Walker, Texas Ranger. Oh my God, that's gonna be funny to listen to. Walker, Texas Ranger had Chuck Norris throwing these incredible hook kicks and wheel kicks and all this stuff. And people, I'm not sure if this was actually a hue and cry about how unrealistic that is to try to throw those kicks in jeans. But in any case, Century clothing company spoke to Chuck Norris and got him to be the poster boy for Action jeans. So if you ever want a pair of jeans, they no longer sold, just like Orbits and Yak Backs and slap bracelets. You have to get that shit on Amazon. But it was a thing at the time in the 80s.
Oh my God, that's funny. So let's talk about jeans for a moment.
Please.
I mentioned, like you had an old pair of jeans. I have an old pair of jeans, but I don't know exactly what happened. But Europe decided after the 80s that jeans should no longer exist. I don't know if they just sent them all over to North America or whatever. But yeah, I went to put on a pair of jeans. All year long, I'd worn dress slacks pretty much, and I went to put on jeans, and my French girlfriend just started laughing, and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Nobody wears that. Like they think you walked out of the '80s."
So bizarre.
It made me laugh so much because I just saw a commercial for like Wrangler's jeans or whatever, and it shows these guys. They're like sitting around the poker table and he's wearing his jeans. He's at like a business meeting and he's wearing jeans.
Oh, I saw that episode or that
taking somebody out for lunch, taking her out for dinner, and he's wearing, and it's like going on like, it's your armor at work.
Versatile.
It's your dress, it's to dress up or dress down. And it's selling itself as, wear them all the time. And it's true. Like if you go anywhere in North America, you're going to see people wear jeans everywhere, even to business meetings and stuff. Like it's a very, especially with the like kind of the youth culture style, like the whole hipster sort of thing. They're gonna go in there in like jeans and like a plaid shirt.
Oh yeah, I can't tell you how many friends of mine who have gone to interviews in like the tech industry or in gaming, and even me, like I'm a bit erudite and like unfashioned in my own way, but like coming in and not wearing a tie or just doing like, the open collar shirt, scruffy beard and jeans. And I'm like, is that really like the look that you're going for? But then you look at all the professionals, at least in the technology industry, and you're seeing those styles. So jeans are kind of like the word cool. Like, I don't think jeans will ever go away. Like, so many like specific fashions have like come and gone, but I think jeans have some versatility with them. What do you think's the most expensive pair of jeans out there, Dallas? What do you want to give me a ballpark about that?
Oh, probably those like bleached, professionally ripped ones or whatever.
I'm glad you mentioned the idea of professionally ripped, because in my escapades surfing the net like Bob, I found a couple of really really interesting website offerings for purchasable artisanal clothing styles. And here's one: Dassault Apparel Threshed Denim brand jeans, the Thrashed Denim edition, $250,000.
What? What does that mean? Why?
So these well, they've got a chain with a bunch of crosses on them, and they've got some acid wash on them. Although, so in 2013, well, here's another little tidbit. Speaking of expensive pants, we were talking about how jeans, like old jeans, and the vintage effect of that. I actually didn't realize. Did you know that Levi's was making jeans back in the 1880s?
No, I thought they were pretty old, but I didn't think they were like over 100 years old.
It blew my mind when in 2013 a Japanese collector purchased a pair of Levi's from the 1880s for $60,000. Although that's not really that's more.
So that like museum piece is worth so much less, like 4 times less than some fashion statement.
Oh crap! I never actually put 2 and 2 together. Well, high fashion's that's ridiculous. And I'll give you one more for kudos. The Secret Circus jeans with diamonds sewn into the butt, $1.3 million for butt diamonds.
First of all, let's back up. Did you say circus?
Yep, Secret Circus jeans.
Okay, Secret Circus sounds very, very bad. I mean, a circus itself is fun, but a bit chaotic. Who knows what's going to happen. And then, like, a secret circus, at best, is like a renegade circus where you have to, show the password or whatever to get in. That's the best. The worst case scenario is it's something like Eyes Wide Shut.
It was this Kubrick film.
Yeah.
I was just going there.
Yeah, Secret Circus.
Oh.
And then, Secret Circus where you have pants that have diamonds in the butt. There are some juvenile connotations to be made there that I really don't want to explore.
Ooh, yes. That's wasn't there gonna be that weird, that actual Eyes Wide Shut boutique? Wasn't that happening in America? Like an actual sex, like a swingers party with masks, basically?
Oh, it probably already exists. It's right next to the Scientology Center.
Oh. And whatever happened to those pay per cuddle sessions that were coming out of Japan? There was going to be that thing in Toronto where you could pay $75 an hour to touch a human being.
There are people who still do that. I saw someone audition on America's Got Talent who was a professional. I think she called herself a professional nurturer, but basically she hugged people and told them they were going to be okay, and then they cuddled on the couch, and I'm like, I don't think the average person, we're getting off track, but I don't think the average person is equipped with enough self-awareness and control to be able to separate one emotion from the other, which is why we have all these TV shows and but I'm a guy and she's a girl, and everyone knows it's impossible for us to be friends and to have sex with each other.
Oh God, you gotta smash it, bruh. Although I'll bring it back. Speaking about pants and sex, this is the only thing I was able to come up with outside of the I felt like talking about S&M and gimp suits was a bit of a low hanging fruit. We've all heard of assless chaps. That's a sexy pants thing. Booty shorts, etc., etc. Mom jeans, the high waisted, hip hugging jeans worn by American moms, now making a recurrence in high fashion, or at least medium fashion. I did some light Googling, and I found out the phrase, in quotations phrase, so the exact Google response phrase, mom jeans fetish, gives about 4,600 results on Google. So it shows at least a minor niche of people who get off on this specific matriarchal fashion icon.
Well, there are a lot of reasons probably for that. Mostly, edible and...
I can dig it, yeah.
Influenced by television, even.
Yeah, influenced by television.
How many motherly characters were also considered attractive? I mean, the common term is to call them a fox.
Yep. A MILF. You got even the cartoons. You got Dexter's Lab and all these. Goof Troop. That one dog woman in Goof Troop. Oh my God.
But I think it's interesting how they do rise and fall, in terms of style. You have the hip huggers that People
Oh, yeah.
love them for like 5 years, and then they don't, and then they do. The lowriders.
Lowriders.
That leads me to another point. I almost thought I had none left. And
Yeah.
what a shame that would be. Ladies, I feel really sorry for you. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I mean, as a man, I've been very fortunate. I have personally worn like 3 different kinds of pants in my life.
Yep.
Unless we're including fabric, and then I'll make it like, let's say 5 or 6.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I started working at a marina, they were like, you have to wear khakis. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I went into a store, and I just wandered around until I found clothes that looked like they should be worn at a marina. And it said khaki. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll wear this now.
Was that store a Best Buy, and did you steal it off one of the managers?
No, it was Sears.
But oh man,
the
yes.
thing is, it's like as a guy, as a typical guy. Okay, you know, I don't know.
Typical cloak wearing guy.
Yeah, fair enough. But in my experience, I do not have that many opportunities where I've worn different kinds of pants. But then when you talk to a girl, it's like the difference between a man carrying a knife and a woman carrying a Swiss Army knife. Because you got lowriders, hip huggers.
Oh yeah.
You got these skinny jeans. You got like the bell bottom jeans. You've got
pants.
like and like, you know, no 2 sizes mean the same thing, even if you know.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah.
Even if they're the same number, it's like, how is it cut this way?
European 0 is like an or like a European 3 is an American 0 or something, like one way or the other.
And the lack of pocket space. I mean, I get it. You know, women like their purses, and maybe they don't, but they kind of have to because their pants don't have pockets in them. And it's like, there's been so many times where someone's like, oh, I lost my phone because I put it in my bag, and then I put my bag over there. And I'm like, I keep my phone in my pocket on my pants. And if I don't have my phone, it means I don't have my pants. And that means that
you don't need your phone at that point.
Yeah,
you're in a different situation.
Yeah, you know.
The person who you'd be calling on your phone, you are with if you don't have your pants. There's so many girls like female employees who work the suites at the place that I work, that they do like bar service and stuff. Nobody has pockets in their pants, and it blows my freaking mind.
And then carry in there like a single key card to get in and out of the Rogers Center.
Oh, it's totally bonkers that they. Yeah, I just can't even believe that. And the hip huggers. I wanted to segue into this because you mentioned about hip huggers, and we were talking earlier about the binding of the hips when because obviously yoga pants can offer free form of movement in these kind of pants, but jeans will maybe could perhaps contribute to like lower back problems if you're constantly bending like that. But Dallas, I would like to read to you a pants related illness, and it's called meralgia paresthetica. Characterized by a numbness or tingling in the thighs, the lateral femoral cutaneous nerve can be compressed as it passes under the inguinal ligament, which in extreme cases can result in permanent parethia. What do you think the cause of this could be, Dallas?
Crossing your legs.
Very, very close, and perhaps a comorbidity, but the actual cause is lowrider jeans. Lowrider jeans were shown in the Canadian Medical Association Journal in 2003. In this actual accredited journal, if you wear them too often, you can get numbness, in the extreme cases, permanent numbness and tingling in your hips from too much compression. Talk about starving for your fashion, or sacrificing health for fashion.
That is ridiculous. I mean, that comes down to another point too, is that I don't care how good something looks. I mean, this is why I'm never going to be one of those characters in a show that, you can imagine it, but I don't care how good it looks. If it feels bad, then it's not worth wearing, in my opinion. I mean, sometimes you quote unquote suffer. You wear a really tight suit for that ceremony. You don't like it, but you look good, fine. A little bit is fine, but if you're like actually going to be documented in like health journals as to having problems, maybe you should move to a different pair of pants.
Maybe you should
put it into the rotation. I don't know.
It's this reminds me a little bit about because I feel like women have been subjected generally to like very destructive fashion trends throughout history. You've got like whalebone corsets. You've got the lotus feet binding in China. If you've ever looked at a ballerina's foot, even though that's related to performance rather than actual fashion. But yeah, that's always tough. I've got one more point for you, Dallas, and then I'm dry, and it's about illegal pants and what can be illegal wear. And I was coming across this in February 2015. Montana Representative David Moore introduced House Bill 365 in the House Judiciary Committee. The proposal would expand indecent exposure law to include yoga pants and any nipple exposure, including men's. So, and I quote, this was the verbatim, his defense for the yoga pants. I'm not sure if this bill passed. I'm pretty sure it didn't. Any garment that, quote unquote, gives the appearance or simulates a person's buttocks, genitals, pelvic area, or female nipple. So, I'm not sure if this guy is, I don't know how to put this.
First of all, a butt and a nipple are not even close to being the same thing. And I find it very, very amusing and terrible how often that is the case where they are represented together. They're sandwiched together as being bad. That's a side note. But you can show 95% of the mammary area, but you show that nipple and it's banned, right?
Yep, it's out of there.
But going back to pants.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. The yoga pants thing, that's another thing where, for me, it comes down to whether it looks good or not. Sometimes it just seems like a real lack of effort. You get dressed to go out, and you're wearing yoga pants. And for some people, they just look like tight-fitting black pants. Fine. Yeah. Some people, they look like... I don't like it when people are wearing, pajama pants or track pants or something when they're shopping or whatever. I mean, you can do it if you want. I'm not really going to judge, but in my opinion, if you're out for a long time and you're wearing track pants, then hopefully you're at the track or you're running or something.
Pretty low effort.
It's a personal thing. I don't care what other people wear, but I would not want to wear track pants or yoga pants or something unless I was engaging in an activity that would require it. But then, yeah, you definitely have people who go way too far, who is just
it's painted on. It's like you dipped your lower body in ink. And I'll be totally truthful here. I wanted to buy a pair of yoga pants, so I went to Walmart and I'm asking where the yoga pants are, and the girl was like, "Oh yeah, the men's yoga pants are over here," because I really I wanted some form fitting, bootylicious yoga pants to jogging and shit. So I went over and all the men's yoga pants were extremely baggy with flame decals on the legs. So I'm like, "Yo, just give me the girls' pants." Yeah. So that's right, internet. I have girls' yoga pants in my own repertoire. So that's about it for me in pants. Any closing comments about your feelings towards pants, Dallas?
Two last things. One, I will say that the creating a giant magnet, pulling down the change and the keys, and thus pulling down the pants of every adult on Earth was a plot of a Pinky and the Brain episode. I'll just tell you that right now.
Oh my God!
He was hoping that he would, using this magnet, basically pull everybody's pants down, and while they're too busy and too embarrassed from not being able to wear pants, he would take over the world.
He would take over the world. That's perfect.
But unfortunately, I don't remember how the episode actually ended, but I'm pretty sure if it happened in real life, so many people would be like, "Awesome, I'm free from the prison that is pants." And no, I think that's it for me. I mean, I'm sure people have heard the word pants more times in this conversation than they ever want to hear in their life.
Pants.
Yeah. What's your dog doing? He's panting. I've enjoyed exploring this topic and kind of ranting on things I like and don't like about pants. And I hope anybody out there listening thinks twice before, putting on pants in the morning.
And remember, everybody, even the greatest heroes put their pants on one leg at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed Ad Absurdum. We'll see you next week.